Paradise. And it's all on sale. Show Dad some love for the gear he wants at everyday low prices you love. But don't wait. The sale runs for 3 days only. Thursday, June 12th, Friday, June 13th, and Saturday, June 14th. Father's Day weekend only at Builders Paradise, where big deals for Dad and everyday low prices will all come together. Happy Father's Day from Builders Paradise.
Get ready for the biggest Father's Day weekend sale ever. From June 12th to 14th, Hostel's Furniture and Appliances, Ashley Furniture Home Store, Hostel's Building and Nevis Centers, and Builders Paradise are bringing you incredible savings and a special men's health and wellness fair. Take 25% off at Hostel's Furniture and Appliances, plus double cash back for free groceries with every higher purchase. It's the perfect time to upgrade your home and fill your pantry. And that's not all. Get 25% off store-wide at Hostel's Building and Nevis Centers and Builders Paradise on all discountable items. On Saturday, June 14th, don't miss our Men's Health and Wellness Fair at Hostel's Building and Nevis Centers from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Get free diabetes, HIV, blood pressure checks, plus customer giveaways and so much more. Celebrate that this Father's Day weekend only at Hostel's Furniture and Appliances, Ashley Furniture Home Store, Hostel's Building and Nevis Centers, and Builders Paradise. Terms and conditions apply.
Building supplies, electrical supplies, furniture, appliances, carpets and tiles. It's the company where you can get it all. All at TDC, Home and Building Depot. From lawn and garden, the TVs and stereos. All at TDC, Home and Building Depot. Come on down, get what you're looking for. It's all at TDC, Home and Building Depot.
Can this be really true? Oh, how I wish I had you.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
Good morning, and how are you doing this morning? Welcome to today's edition of Island Tea. It is the 5th day of June already. For those of you celebrating, happy birthday on behalf of us here at WinFM. Just to remind you, if you're listening on the radio, it's 98.9 FM. We are being simulcast on TVC Channel 40, Facebook, as well as YouTube. The numbers you can reach us at if you wish to join in on the conversation or bring something to the fore. In the UK, 0333 440065 or 1-718-285-6984 or 1305-921-4619 or our local number 466-0989. Good morning, Quint. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you, and I think you're feeling better today.
Not really, you know. You know, as women, we put up a brave front to fight the good fight, you know. See, I'm already pulling up. I have my hot water with a power mint in it. That's my elixir for the throat, because then the throat wants to give trouble, so yeah.
Did you try our member yesterday, one of our callers?
I did, but I knew of that remedy.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did. I did it again this morning as well.
Okay.
Elderly lady, when I lived in Antigua, that's what she used to tell me to gargle with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
here's
thanks again.
hoping for speedy recovery.
Yeah, me too. This thing's just keeps coming round and round and round, like it's never going. Like I see in Barbados, they are warning the populace of another strain of the COVID-19 virus, and you know the people always say they well know it in Barbados already, so what they coming and tell us anything for? But they were just telling or reminding folks to wear your mask, and we see here as soon as some of us get sick, we put on our mask because we care for our fellow brothers and sisters, and that's a good thing. That shows that we still have heart, although at times it look like the world is just, as we would say in local terms, going to the dogs.
Well, we as black people, no matter how we have our problems, history has shown that we have always had heart.
Yeah.
You know, almost all of the other races, the Chinese got their rights in the United States of America because of black struggle. The Indians, everyone, the Irish. So historically, we're good people.
Yeah. So let me just touch on some topics at the moment until Quint returns so we can continue our conversations. Because I had one for Quint this morning since he had one yesterday. Ooh. Oh yes, congratulations to our Minister of Tourism. She won another award. So congratulations to her as well. Keep doing great things. Keep enhancing our country. Keep on making us proud. We are here to support you in whatever way we can. Okay. In other news, I see Eugene Ezekiel Davis, formerly charged with murder in Port Zante. And it says on Tuesday the 3rd, 2025, 49-year-old Eugene Ezekiel Davis, a resident of Main Street Old Road, formerly charged, the St. Christopher Nevis Police Force formerly charged 49-year-old Eugene Ezekiel Davis, a resident of Main Street Old Road, with the offense of murder. The charge relates to a fatal stabbing that took place on Saturday, May 31st, 2025, at Port Zante, Basse-Terre. The deceased, Jason Sylvester Gilbert Riley of Middle Island, succumbed as a result of injuries sustained during an altercation with Davis at the waterfront area. So, how many did we have? We had the nurse, we had
I don't really recall.
the young man on Tuckett Street, and we had this young man right here. Wow. So
I don't keep track.
You don't keep track.
I don't keep track of murders. I just don't.
Oh, I have one for you before you left. I had to play this. This is our best friend's response on this. Oh boy. Hold on a second. I need to put on the volume.
This week there was a video on board a plane that showed the First Lady of France slapping her husband, Emmanuel Macron. Do you have any world leader to world leader marital advice?
Make sure the door remains closed.
That's good advice. I have to admit, it's good. I saw that yesterday and I smiled. I said,
How is he going to make sure the doors remain closed?
I don't know, but it's still good advice. You
Listen.
understand? Because as long as the doors stay closed, no one sees what happens. So
Trump is just a lot of problems. That's all I can say. Plenty
Hello, caller.
problems.
Hello, caller.
Yes, good morning to everybody, and greetings once more in Jesus' name, the only Savior of sinners, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, what I would like to speak about, well, two things quickly. One, yesterday, people were speaking, and not just yesterday, but, yeah, and not just yesterday, but constantly. People are saying, well, then, you know, we need fresh ideas, we need good ideas, that sort of stuff, and new candidates to come to run on the political scene. Mm-hmm. Well, let me say this. If a candidate is not willing to condemn and disassociate themselves from the past wrongs and foolishness of their party, then that candidate is not serious. For example, if a candidate who is running for Labour, PAM, PLP now, CCM and NRP, if they're not willing to say, well, my party was wrong in the past for doing X, Y, or Z, and I'm disassociating myself from that because I'm condemning such past actions of what my party did. Unless they're willing to do those things, be upfront and honest to call out wrong wherever it occurs, then that candidate is not serious and that candidate is not to be trusted. And this is one aspect that is very plain that I know we are very ignorant of. We are very, we close our eyes to this pearl of wisdom. You know, we only interested when we candidate call out the wrongs of the other parties, but not our own. And an honest candidate will call out all wrongs, no matter what, even for their own party, and disassociate themselves from them. And it's a kind of a similar thing is this. I just hear, for example, talk to say, oh, this person was a good police, this person was a good teacher, this person was a good this or that, inland revenue worker, you name it. But if a person is not willing to call out the wrong of the own party, for example, if you have a policeman who locks up people when they do wrong, who always on time, punctually for his work, and that sort of stuff. But yet, when he sees wrong, when he or she sees wrong done by their own colleagues, and keep them all shut, that person is not a good policeman or woman. And it goes for any other workers. So in other words, I'm saying we should be consistent. And if you're not consistent, you is not a good whatever, be it police, candidate, inland revenue worker, teacher, or whatever. So that for that quickly. But another thing I'd like to say quickly as well. You know,
wrap it up. We're right on the dot for next program.
No problem. I call back. I will call back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll take a bit of a break and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM. Found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
Supermarket shoppers understand that convenience matters. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Ample parking and the widest variety matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Clean, spacious aisles and the highest level of customer service all matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, price matters most. We've renewed our commitment to guarantee the lowest prices in the Federation. Why? Because we understand that in this tough economic environment, price matters most. Shop smart. Shop Value Mart, where price matters most. Farms Estate Nevis and Wellington Road, St. Kitts.
Price matters most.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. Here a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a Magnum for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Campari. Red Passion. Embrace the mix.
Campari Red Passion, full action, this is Red Passion. Embrace the mix, add Campari, make it turn and twist. Add your chaser in your drink. Campari Red Passion, make the nicest mix.
Campari Red Passion. Embrace the mix. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we're back on Island Tea, and as Quint would have mentioned before, we have with us in the studio the Department of Environment. We have their very own Mr. Shervin Gardner, and this morning he will be speaking on the second phase single-use plastics and the activities they will be having this month. Good morning, Mr. Gardner. Welcome back to Island Tea.
Good morning. Thanks for having me again.
No pleasure.
Always a pleasure. All right, thank you for having me again. It's always a pleasure being here.
All right. You wanna begin?
All right. So we are here continuing the campaign, reminding persons, updating persons, and what has been going on with the single-use plastic ban. Just to remind persons, we are in phase 2 of the single-use plastic ban. We have already passed phase 1, where there's the permanent and official banning of t-shirt plastic bags. And like I've said, we've noticed a gradual improvement in what we've been seeing going on. However, there are still some persons out there who persist with taking chances. Let's be frank, breaking the law. Yes, the reason why I say breaking the law, because I want persons to understand that they may think that we are not aware and they are getting away with it. And the thing that will happen is, under the law, they are subjected to a fine of $3,000. And we don't want to hit somebody with a fine of $3,000. But if it is going against what we have going on, it's going against the norm, because that's what we want, the banning of these plastics and basically eco-friendly habits and a change in mentality towards environment conservation. That's what we want to become a part of the culture of St. Kitts. And if there's anything that's going against that, I think it's expedient to deal with it appropriately. So we're asking persons to stop and please take advantage of the alternatives that are provided. So we're on to phase 2, which began on April 30th, where we banned the importation of styrofoam food containers, styrofoam equates, and plastic straws. And we want to remind persons, and the reason why we're doing this, we want persons to be aware that it's coming up. That's why the ban was constructed the way it was constructed, to give people a 3-month grace period to get ready so that they can enjoy a smooth transition. And that is something that the minister is adamant about. She wants us to make sure that the community and the country is ready. And we're asking persons to be aware that on the 31st of July, there will be a ban on the distribution and sale of these items. So styrofoam food containers, after July 31st, they won't be around. And there are alternatives. I've already seen alternatives being used. Some persons are getting ahead of the game, and that's what we want. So that is one of the things we want to basically remind persons about. And if anybody is getting is confused or they're not sure about what's going on, call us at the Department of Environment, 467-1081, and ask for someone. We have a lovely secretary, and she definitely will she definitely will
patch you through to the right person.
Exactly. So that is one of the message we are trying to get out there, and I think that would have been a major message at the Global Sustainable Island Summit that was held on the 25th to the 27th at Marriott recently, and that was international. That was a big deal for St. Kitts. It was very comforting, and I was very proud that Twin Island of St. Kitts and Nevis can actually host such an event, major and significant event relating to environment conservation and sustainability. And we're about the CISA, Sustainable Island State Agenda, and it came off lovely. I mean, hats off to the organizers, the ministry. I don't want to call out different persons, but the minister, I mean, the minister is a do things person, so things normally get done on her. And Miss Laplace and everybody, the entire staff, it came off well.
Okay, good stuff. Glad to hear.
Yeah.
So what are some of the takeaways from that event? Because we know we had back-to-back events. So what are some of the takeaways of that?
One of the major takeaways is that there is a call for sustainability. There is a call for a major call for environment conservation, and at that event we can see that we are not the only persons that are aware of this and that is on this journey to sustainability. The entire world is. Another a major takeaway was the part youths can play. The youths definitely made their voice heard. I'm telling you, there was a major speech, I must say. Shout out to Akwanje Robinson. The guy is and his speech was very, very powerful, and I think it's going to echo and ripple across the region and the world. And he speak to the youths are here and they are ready to be a part of this conversation and this movement. And another takeaway is basically when it comes to such I don't want to say a major issue, but environment conservation and the issue of plastic reduction, plastic pollution is such a big problem that it takes the world to basically get on board, acknowledge it, and get on board to resolve it, and collaboration. All right, you can't do it by yourself. You have to find out what's going on. You have to speak to like-minded persons, and that is one of the another takeaways. Also, we're small, but we tell how we could have. St. Kitts and Nevis, we handled that basically. Yes.
That's good. So, what are some of the activities for this month?
All right, so the Department of Environment, again, we have an annual, we every year we host a month of activities. It's geared towards awareness, public awareness, environment conservation, what's going on in St. Kitts, relationship building, engaging communities, educating, and having fun. So there are some, we normally have activities throughout the month that is geared towards achieving this. And some of the activities we normally start off, of course, you start everything with a church service. So we had the church service on the 1st of this month. And today, I don't know if persons are aware, but today is World Environment Day. And that is a major celebrated day throughout the world, and it's very significant. It's very telling that the theme for this year, World Environment Day, is ending plastic pollution globally, because recently there have been some major scientific discovery where microscopic plastic is found in the brain. It's everywhere. Yeah. It's everywhere. It's a major call to end plastic pollution. It is everywhere, people. And the world notices, and this is what the message is for World Environment Day. And we have some collaboration going on. We have some activities going on today. There will be a community. There will be a community drive-through, or we'll have a what we call community, I wouldn't say consultation, but we go to the communities and we basically ask them about the transition for single-use plastic. We give them information. We ask them if they have any issues. Basically, it's public awareness and what's, especially the single-use plastic ban, and what's going on with the environment. And that is one of the activities we'll be having this afternoon. And Green Your Office, well, basically today we ask persons to wear wearing green and World Environment Day. Normally persons decide to wear green. We have collaboration with schools. Right now, Miss Wallace should be at Cairn High School speaking about the man and the biosphere. And most of the schools are trying to do something. We know they are busy. Some of them are busy with exams, but most of them are trying to do something that advance the message of World Environment and World Environment Day and environment conservation. And so that is going on today. So persons be aware, we want persons to be conscious about and pay attention to the theme and at least think about it, because plus I've heard a lot of people saying that St. Kitts is following developed countries. That is not the case. 193 countries, they are aware and they are on board because they know that plastic is a major issue.
Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T, and you have a question for the Department of Environment?
Good morning. I have a question, but I would like to let him know that what he is doing is a good thing in one sense, and it sounds good. The presentation is good. But Limo will tell you that that law and the plastic marina bag is a foolish law. And it's always good. Every little thing helps. But the banning of the plastic bag, I know you can't do anything about it. It's already law. And
you care to say why it's
say that again?
You care to say why it's a foolish law?
Well, it's a foolish law because you and I know that the plastic bags that really do the damage, the real damage is the plastic bag that our food come here in, wrapped in container and put on shelves. Those are the main problem. The clear plastic wrapping, not so much the plastic bag that we take from the store or food and so on. That's not so much of a problem because that break down after a period of time, and it's colorful.
Microscopic plastic, sir.
Well, yes, but it's so to me, trying that and doing that, Donald Trump will tell you it's foolish thing to have paper straw. That don't work.
You don't listen to Donald over here.
I know that I know that, but
okay, so one of the things,
something good, something bad to come out of it. So not everything bad, but that part is good. Paper straw is a foolish thing. You try paper straw, break up in your mouth before you finish drinking what you're drinking. But
paper straws are not the only alternative, sir.
The transparent, I understand what you're saying. You're walking.
No, I'm telling you, I'm speaking the truth. Paper straws are not the only alternatives.
Yes, I understand that. But you see, the thing is that clear plastic bags, if it's in the water and it's consumed by the turtle, it cannot be digested because the turtle take it for jellyfish.
Yes.
Jellyfish consume the fish that we eat, and so the predator for the jellyfish is the turtle. And so to protect the turtle is to prevent clear plastic from going into the water, because if that gets into the water, the turtle don't know the difference. So that is one. Not only that, it looks terrible among the community and very unhealthy. But at the same time, to say you're totally outright banned by law, plastic bag that you carry your things home, you don't see them on the street. What you see on the street is bags that are wrapped.
You don't see plastic bags on the street, sir?
That wrap food. And you cannot stop that. I don't care how hard you try, you can't stop it. Food that wraps come here in container, nobody can stop it, because it's the way of life today. But it's good to try. It's better to try and fail than failing to try. But I understand. But it's still a foolish law. That's my opinion, eh? Don't kill me for my opinion.
No, not at all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You too.
Let me say, one of the things that we consider while gradually removing plastic from the environment is the feasibility of doing so. So, and smooth transition. We don't want to have a major disruption within society. So you have to consider the plastic items that impact your area with pollution in the in respect to pollution, and also what you can ban without totally affecting your economy negatively. Now he speaks to clear plastic bag, the clear plastic.
Right.
Plastic is being banned in phases, incrementally. You cannot get up one day and ban all plastic.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed like he understands the world. I think he will understand that. So it is not that what you are banning. It's, are you reducing the amount of plastic pollution and the way it's impacting your society your posterity, because I'm sure he wants is if you have kids, his grandkids to live a healthy life, etc. So I understand what he's saying, but and change is rigid. People are rigid to change, but it is not a foolish lesson. You think there are major positives to this law, and I think we should all have a auspicious feeling with this law. And speaking to Environment Month, I was speaking about Environment Day, and we have I was saying Green Valley. I didn't think I mentioned Green Valley Plastic Expo. So we'll be in the Green Valley area, making our rounds, educating persons, engaging the community, find out what their issues are, what their challenges are, and see if we have the capacity to resolve those. And we have a website that we've been working diligently on. We always had a website, but we wanted the website to be practical, workable, and we did some improvement on it, and the website should be launching today, and if not, definitely during the month. And we have exciting team building activities, community engaging activities. We have community sensitization. Of course, we'll be coming back on the radio again to celebrate some other environmental days that's coming up, World Ocean Day, speaking to them, and we also have desertification. So those are some of the things that we'll be speaking about. And when one of the major activities that persons normally look to during the month is the extreme hike. This is an activity where persons show up and they take on the old military route trail at Wingfield. And it is a competition. First person, they get a prize. Of course, the prize is going to be something that they'll enjoy, but also with the message of sustainability. And we want persons, physical enthusiasts, environmental enthusiasts, persons that come out and support, get involved, and let your be seen for sustainability. And we have the calendar for month of activities is already posted on the website, Facebook page, sorry. And so just go at the Department of Environment, and you'll see that. And we try to we definitely keep you guys updated on what is going on the website. And so we are looking at a big month. And we ask persons to come out and stay in tune and find out what is going on and what they can be a part of. And a lot of it is going to involve, like I say, community engagement. We have community sensitization drive-through. I mean, persons have been telling us, maybe you guys should come through and be seen, and we listened. So we're going to come through. So we'll be coming to the community environment. So whatever issues you have or challenges, we are here to hear and listen and see what we can do to make the single-use plastic transition easier, and also help you to benefit from being stored in your environmental stored in your community.
The extreme hike, when is it? You already say where it was. What's the starting time as well?
The extreme hike, it's on the 21st of this month. Okay. Like I said, it's going to be at Old Road. It starts early in the morning. Normally, persons show up. I think it starts at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'll make certain of that, but definitely 6 a.m. Yes, okay. At 6 a.m. So June the 21st, 6 a.m. in the morning. It's going to the poster is going to be posted on our Facebook page. You guys are going to see that poster, and of course, there's a QR code. So persons who want to join, you'll have to click the QR code, and register. So that is going up today on the Department of Environment web page. And so persons who are willing to participate, definitely visit our web page.
Okay, caller, go ahead. Good morning.
Hello?
Hi.
Morning? Yes, again. Yes. I'm calling in to say that to call T-shirt plastic bags single-use plastic bags is not true. They are actually multi-use plastic bags. So it is really and truly dishonest and gaslighting to call T-shirt plastic bags single-use plastic bags. They're used for all kind of stuff.
So the term given to the plastic bag is not dependent on what you use them for. If that item was made for one use only, but you choose to use it multiple times, that doesn't mean it is not a single-use item. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. But was it made for just only one use?
Yes, it was made for one use.
And what is that use?
That use is to take your groceries from the
point A to point B.
From point A to point B, from the supermarket home.
And what is your source that is the only reason the manufacturer made those plastic bags for? Where do you get the information from?
Look it up, sir. And when you look it up and come back.
I've read all kind of stuff and I ain't see anywhere manufacturer said that's the only use they made those plastic bags for.
Just like how we save cans and bottles and bowls, that was just made
I think he'll realize he heard and maybe
I realize that no, but what source? What I've not read anywhere where the manufacturer said the only reason we are making these plastic bags for is for grocery purposes only.
So why are they called T-shirt grocery shopping bags?
Yeah, I haven't read anywhere where the
so why are they called grocery shopping bags?
Hello?
Why are they called grocery shopping bags? Have you ever taken? They're called grocery shopping bags. Have you ever taken grocery shopping bag from the supermarket home, and then when you're going back to the supermarket, take back those plastic bags?
If I take back those plastic bags, not before the ban. But what I'm saying, who is calling them grocery?
So why haven't you used grocery shopping plastic bags multiple times?
But I get them
to
from
get
the store.
to get your groceries.
No, I use them multiple times.
To get your groceries.
Because
if you use them multiple times to get your groceries, that also will reduce the amount of plastic bag being used. But if you take those plastic bags, and that's what we're talking about, change in mentality and eco-friendly mindset. If there are persons, I doubt there's a person who can call in and say, hey, the plastic bag that I took from Ram's supermarket and took home my groceries in, I took them back the next time I went to the supermarket and got my groceries, packed in them and took them home and used them until they were worn down.
Yeah, but what I'm telling you is that it's only the man in the street who, because he normally gets them from the grocery store when he buy things, are calling them grocery bags. I don't know of any manufacturer formally calling them grocery bags. That's what I'm trying to say. And what I am saying.
And so what's your source, sir? So you asked me my source. What's your source?
That's what I said. I haven't read it. I haven't read anywhere where any manufacturer call them grocery.
So what is your source? What is your source to say that they are not single-use plastic bags? What's your source?
What is my source to well, for example, the Heartland Institute report to them as have told you that hey, they are not single-use plastic bags. Not only that, but experience seeing people.
So the Heartland said what? You didn't say what the Heartland said.
Institute have showed you that it is a misuse of the word single-use to apply them to the T-shirt plastic bags. But I don't even need them to tell me that. I've seen other people reuse them for multiple uses, which shows me that they're not single use. Experience from experience shows me that.
Caller, Greg, we're not going to get anywhere with this. This is whether or not they are referred to as single use, and whether or not you feel it is appropriate to call them that. a ban is in place. That is the key.
And the aim is to reduce.
But having criticized the ban, you don't keep going back and forth, repeating the same thing. We've gotten your point.
Yeah, well, yes, but that is how sometimes we get rid of ban, but if we keep on repeating some things about it.
Do you have another question?
Yes, I would like to also make a second point.
Yeah,
concerning this. This ban have put poor people in more expense, making life harder for poor people. Now, I know you like to talk about microplastics, okay? But microplastics are everywhere from all different sources. But not only that, the poorer you make people, is the harder you make it for people to overcome sicknesses and that sort of stuff. And putting poor people in extra expenses. You're making it harder for them to live. You're making them to die quicker. Because hard life makes poor people die quicker.
I want you to be consistent with your argument, because you just spoke to not banning the plastic bags, but banning all clear plastic. Clear plastic is more widely used than any other plastic. So banning those plastic will make it life harder for these same poor people, because they'll have to buy they'll have to buy more items, and there'll be more transactions that include the clear plastic, and will cause an increase. And that's what we're trying to say. The world heard by the way we have dealt with plastics. There are major issues, Greg, not just talking points and agenda. There are major issues, Greg, that's affecting the world, and we have to look at workable, practical, and feasible way to deal with it. The aim is to reduce plastic pollution, Greg, and do it in a workable, practical way, and I think that is what this ban and the whole plastic reduction agenda is about. There are dynamics that you are not aware of and haven't seen, Greg. And like I say, St. Kitts is one of the many countries that banned single-use plastics. And we have one of the most lenient bans. We are not less resilient, innovative, and less environmentally conscious than other islands. Greg go to Antigua, Greg must conform with the laws in Antigua pertaining to single-use plastic. He goes anywhere, he has to conform with these laws. So this is what I want Greg to really sit down and consider the pros and cons. And we're talking about sustainability. His kids, he glanced over microscopic plastic like it's not an issue. Greg, I want you to really consider your argument, Greg. And we can't, like the guy said, we can't be having the back and forth. I'm sure there are persons who really want to know positive things, have real issues. And I'm not saying what you're saying wasn't heard, Greg, but I'm saying there are major issues that must be dealt with, and they outweigh your argument.
But making life harder for the poor person, which kills them off quicker, is a major issue. And what I'm saying is that
Greg,
banning the
single-use microscopic plastic everywhere. Now, you may be a healthy person, never engage in any sort of you may never smoke, drink, you work out, and then you want to know how come my body, I pick up this disease that normally affects unhealthy people, and to find out that you may have a brain aneurysm, clot or something, and it stems from microscopic plastic causing the clot. That is in your bloodstream. It is everywhere, Greg. So we are looking at now and the future. You're only looking at now, Greg.
But what I'm saying, the less poor people are, the more we're better able to deal with sicknesses and that sort of stuff. You banning the multi-use tissue, plastic bags and that sort of stuff, making life harder for the poor. You put us in a position to make it much harder for us to deal with sicknesses and that sort of stuff when they do come.
And the government definitely considered all this, and the government put things in place which we relates to easing the economic burden. There are concessions.
But
And
the
like I
economic
say,
burden get you what?
Greg, there's another caller. Greg, one thing
Okay.
one thing I want you to understand, Greg. When we like when you call in, but if you're gonna call in every time and belabor the same point and insist continuing, make the point and then move on, or make the point and then hang up.
Yes.
You know, don't keep going back on and on and on and on with it. It doesn't make any sense.
Quint, one of the things I've told you, I'm not a person who speak for 9 days and that's it.
Yes, but I'm saying, okay, here's what I'm saying. You call in, you say, single-use plastic, I think that you're putting pressure on the poor and so on, so on, so forth, and then you finish. You said it. The next time he called you, be brief, make the point, and finish, but not go on and on and on. We've lost the other caller. Caller is back. Hello, caller.
Hi, good morning.
Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, good morning, man. Let me break this deadlock, man. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
The plastic guy is still on, right? The guest talking about plastics, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my quick question for him is, was there any room for a recycling program? And going forward, is the main objective is to get rid of all plastic use going forward? That's my two basic questions. I'll leave it there. Just want to break that deadlock, man, because that back and forth, we're not going anywhere for real, man. So those two basic questions, and that's it. Thanks a lot.
I thank you,
I'll come
caller.
later on. Thanks.
Thank you. Definitely, we I think I might have heard an accent, so he's not aware, but there's been a recycling program going on in St. Kitts and Nevis for 4 years now, if I'm not mistaken. And it's been going on for so long that I think when I go to, there's a recycling culture that's developing in persons right now. We never had that. Even though we had, some persons might have had the intention, we never really had the means. And the government and the department realized that, and we worked with the ICDF and with the Taiwan Technical Mission, and we implemented a recycling program, and it has advanced to the point, and it's been so successful that the solid waste facility has been expanded to increase recycling capacity. We have shipped recycled items out. Both St. Kitts and Nevis being the first, ship recycling items out. And these recycling items are being shipped out and being turned into something useful.
Okay.
Yes. And what was his other question? So yes, there's a recycling, and his other question was, is the aim to ban all plastic? The aim is to significantly reduce plastic, 80% plastic use by I think 2050. 80% plastic use, and the scientists, and the reason why this is so is because if that is not the aim, to reduce 80% plastic use by that time, we will have a triple the use and the pollution, the distribution. Let me say the plastic pollution will increase 3 times by that time. That means we won't have any ocean. That means persons, kids will be, instead of maybe a little sargasm where we may go in the water, sargasm touch our legs, we're like, it's going to be plastic. And this is something that the persons need to understand. This is a major issue. This is not something where some countries are not on board with, but others aren't. This is something that most countries are on board with. Some countries are not on board because they have already done it. They have significantly reduced the use of plastic items that is used within their country, and they've done it in a practical way. So there may be some plastic items that are still being used, but like I said, the aim is to reduce significantly the plastic use. So that is the plan. to reduce single-use plastic significantly. And if we can reduce everything, of course, plastic wasn't made to be used commercially. Plastic was like I said, tell person, plastic was a military-grade substance. Wasn't meant to be used commercially.
Okay, caller, go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There's two questions I wanted to ask. First of all, is there science right now, or are they working on in the scientific community on making plastics biodegradable? That's first, because obviously, if they succeed in that, that would take care of a lot of the existing problems with plastic. And secondly, I mean apart from recycling, okay, making it biodegradable so that whenever it does get into the environment, it's not going to cause significant harm. And secondly, how can we, when we look at the replacements, the alternatives to plastics, obviously, basically what you're doing is consuming other products from the environment, okay, however it's made. And whether it's plant-based, may involve cutting down trees or, that kind, those kinds of things. What is the happy medium where now that you reduce plastics in the environment, you're also increasing consumption elsewhere, which, for instance, as I just said, cutting down trees to make other biodegradable products. So is there a happy medium that they're looking for in that respect? Those are the questions.
Relating to the question you asked about making plastic, that's polyethylene, basically. Plastic polymers are biodegradable. There is, and there have been a breakthrough. The thing about plastic is that there wasn't a bacteria, a particular organism or substance that can break down plastic or make it harmless to the environment, whether it's because there isn't it's not conducive environment, etc. But there definitely has been breakthrough. But these breakthroughs are not yet advanced enough for it to be implemented globally, but they are working on that. And there is breakthrough. And your other question was, the happy medium. Now, one of the major things, when we look at climatic issues, climate change, we're talking about CO2, we're talking about CO2 emission increasing, etc. Plastic contributes to that a lot. And you speak to alternatives. When you look at a situation, you have to look at a situation where what are the positive, what are the negative? Can this be sustainable? Can this be something that will benefit us? That's why the word sustainability comes about. Plastic use is not sustainable. It is not sustainable. And yes, there's a happy medium, because you may say using more paper means using more trees. Trees are renewable. Trees are renewable energy, resource. We can plant back trees, and that is a very, very positive habit for us to get involved in, replacing trees. So we can plant back the trees. When we use plastic, there is no replacing it. We can't get rid of it out. So we're just building on a bad habit, and basically it's suicide. So that is one of the things we want. Yes, the trees can be used, and that is why we are, but they are replaceable. A lot of persons don't know plastic is made from oil, and that is a non-renewable.
No, we don't. Okay, caller, go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, thanks.
Question: How do your recycle work in St. Kitts? What exactly do y'all recycle?
Okay, caller. Well, there is a recycling program. The recycling program, we mainly recycle. I started recycling plastic bottles, but it's been developed into, we have the capacity now to recycle paper and cans. So those are the main items we recycle. Plastic bottles, definitely. So anyone out there thinking plastic bottles are not banned, we encourage recycling. Also, what we ask persons, they are drop-off points. We don't have the capacity yet, that is being worked on, to basically pick up your plastic bottles from within the communities. All right, so we ask persons, their drop-off sites, every Tuesdays, we are either at Buckley's, the parking lot there next to Best Buy, or we are by the big roundabout there by the airport.
What are the incentives for recycling? Cause like here where I'm at,
yep,
my soda bottles, my water bottles, I save them, and when I take them to the recycle plant, I get 10 cents a bottle. Sometimes when I leave the recycling plant, I leave it with all the $200 and something because I just store all my bottles until like at the end of the year, I recycle them. So what is the
incentive? We have a point system. What we do, we have a point system. The point system is geared towards basically having persons feel a sense of solidarity. I know you said you get money, basically.
Yeah.
But we have a point system, and you can use those points to get gifts, sustainable items such as bags. A lot of people, the bags are definitely a hot item. So and other gifts such as I don't know if we have tumblers, but definitely there were some gifts handed out through the point system.
Maybe I should look to start to say, well, 5 cents a bottle. I think people will be more inclined to save their bottles and then recycle them to get that nickel, because it was 5 cents before. This year it just went up to 10 cents for us. So maybe 5 cents people will be more inclined to recycle.
Where are you from? You're from Nevis?
No, St. Kitts.
She's from St. Kitts, but she lives in the U.S.
You live in the U.S.?
Yes, so she's calling from the U.S.
Oh, okay. Ma'am, definitely we are looking at increasing incentives that will definitely cost persons. I want persons to recycle more, but that's the thing. We don't want persons to be recycling because they're being rewarded. Of course, being rewarded is something that encourages persons, but we also want we're trying to instill, we're aiming to implement a change in behavior.
But don't you think that being rewarded?
Yes, definitely.
Yes,
they are being rewarded. They are being rewarded.
Yeah.
But I think you're confusing. Money is reward.
Financial.
Yes,
well,
financial is
reward.
a reward. But
Look,
some persons are looking at financial reward.
Hear what she said? 5 cents. Now, if someone store up, you've got to
like I
you've
said,
got to
definitely
be thinking, yeah.
Those are conversations definitely going on, but the recycling program has been going on for 3 to 4 years. Things are going to develop.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Things are definitely going to develop.
All right, guys.
Yeah. Why I interjected is that you said you didn't want people to recycle because they were being rewarded. So I think you should.
Oh, yes, definitely. But
reward that.
We don't. It's not something that I think. We want people to see the value in recycling, not the reward. Let me reward it like that. We want people to see the value in recycling, exactly, not the reward.
Well, that's better said. Let's see, we have another caller. Yes, we have another caller.
Caller, go ahead.
Yes, let me get back in, please. Thanks, man. Another quick question for the gentleman there, right? Yeah, he's indicated that there's indeed a recycling program. But well, let me ask him, right? Is there a monetary value attached to these recycled products? When as an incentive for the general public to, to get more involved. Someone bring in, a bag of cans, are they getting paid? Is the general public getting paid to, encourage them as an incentive? Or they're packing up these derelict vehicles and all these metals and stuff, and the cans and, all the plastic bottles. And the program that they got with Taiwan, they're picking up these goods in both Sinkis and Nevis and taking them away. Is the general public or the government getting paid? Because obviously, man, that recycling thing is an industry. And here in the United States, persons get paid to recycle. The general public, when they bring these recycled goods into the facilities, or the general public getting paid? That's my main concern. Thanks.
All right. We just had a conversation about that financial payment or financial reward. Like I said, we are definitely willing, and these are conversations being had, and persons, to the caller, persons are being rewarded. Persons are being rewarded right now. One of the things that are being rewarded are like I say, reusable bags. Those reusable bags, persons definitely are saying those bags are the items that are, some of the items are being rewarded. This means that those persons won't necessarily have to buy those items. All right? So,
Caller, go ahead.
Yes,
This will be the
morning.
final call we'll be taking before we wrap up the segment. We already went over time. So, yeah.
I was wondering, what is the what's the process in our local recycling? For instance, when you say there are collection points for plastic bottles, is that any plastic bottle? You include things like bottle with motor oil and bottles with water. Where does this sorting come in? And what's the process involved in the recycling? How is it disposed of? Because it's all well and good to say you drop it off there, but what really happens after in the recycling process?
all right, definitely they're sorted. We ask persons, yes, they can bring plastic bottles with motor oil. We ask persons definitely to try to clean them, of course, and we won't want the plastic bottle with the motor oil be with the plastic, say, the drinking bottles.
Yeah.
So we sort those. We'll ask persons to sort those. And then there's the capturing, of course. These will be collected at the point. They'll be taken to the solid waste. They'll be sorted. Different intensity or different bottles are going to be packed together, and then they'll be baled. And the bale definitely will be packaged. They'll be stored until they're sufficient enough to be shipped to the Dominican Republic, where they'll be definitely captured down there, and some of them will be used in what we call a circular economy, basically. And I want persons to be aware of this. St. Kitts, the region itself, plastic, that is the thing about recycling. About 11% of our plastic bottles, plastic are recycled. And of that 11%, less are actually feasible for recycling, because they have to be at a quality so that it can actually be turned back into something useful. So just think about that. St. Kitts, a lot of people think St. Kitts actually have the quality to start a recycling economy for themselves. But we are very small. Nevis are very small. We have to basically do it as a region. And those are conversations being had. A lot of persons are looking at, hey, this is financially benefiting someone else and not us. That is not the case. Definitely, we are being funded, and there are a lot of incentives and opportunities open for even citizens, persons. There are incentives and programs, and even grants for persons who have sustainable ideas, who are willing to implement sustainability within their businesses. These are things that we ask the citizens they can ask and find out about. So that is basically the processor, the capturing, taken to the waste, it's baled, and it's being shipped along with other regional plastic to Dominican Republic.
All right. Okay, Mr. Gardner, well, thank you so much for coming in and educating us on the end, well, I should say the second phase of the ban of the plastic and the activities that you'll be having for the remainder of this month. I was looking at, I had a phrase here, but I lost it. It basically said, the future does not come wrapped in plastic. But they had some more things to add to that, so when I find it. And I must say, last night while it was raining, and I was driving, almost at every corner, plastic bottles were coming down, and my Jeep was running over a plastic bottle in the road. So we have to be really mindful of how we dispose the garbage, because I was surprised with that. I wouldn't say that was, as we would say, a ton load of rain. The bottles were coming down.
There's one thing I would ask citizens to be aware of, and we're coming into hurricane season. Hopefully there's a lot of rain. Look at the main item that you see in the drains that's been distributed in the sea. Every time rainfall and there's heavy gut flooding, running water, the waterways open up. The major thing you see, plastic bottles. And I think people need to look around and really see if you can look a particular, go outside and see if you can look while you're driving, see if you can see a particular area that you don't see plastic. And even if you don't see it on the road, go behind the shrub. Go behind those long grass that you see growing. All right? You might be amazed at what you're seeing. So I don't think persons are not aware of the issue. I think persons have an idea of how the issue should be handled. And of course, everybody have their opinion, but we've been doing our due diligence, and I think we have a very workable and reasonable plastic ban implemented, and we are willing and open to and have implemented ways, incentives to help persons to smoothly transition with this ban.
All right. Thank you so much, and you have a good day.
All right. Thank you for having me.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put a Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. Give her a sip and she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a Magnum for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
This Father's Day weekend at Builders Paradise, we've got big deals for dad and low prices for all. Yeah! Yes, we've got a massive 25% off store-wide on all discountable items. Yes, 25% off Builder's Paradise, already low everyday prices. From power tools to paint, lumber to lighting and more. It's all at Builder's Paradise. And it's all on sale. Show Dad some love for the gear he wants at everyday low prices you love. But don't wait. The sale runs for 3 days only. Thursday, June 12th, Friday, June 13th, and Saturday, June 14th. Father's Day weekend only at Builder's Paradise, where big deals for Dad and everyday low prices for all come together. Happy Father's Day from Builder's Paradise.
Get ready for the biggest Father's Day weekend sale ever. From June 12th to 14th, Hostel's Furniture and Appliances, Ashley Furniture Home Store, Hostel's Building and Nevis Centers, and Builder's Paradise are bringing you incredible savings and a special men's health and wellness fair. Take 25% off at Hostel's Furniture and Appliances, plus double cash back for free groceries with every higher purchase. It's the perfect time to upgrade your home and fill your pantry. And that's not all. Get 25% off store-wide at Hostel's Building and Nevis Centers and Builder's Paradise on all discountable items. On Saturday, June 14th, don't miss our Men's Health and Wellness Fair at Hostel's Building and Nevis Centers from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Get free diabetes, HIV, blood pressure checks, plus customer giveaways and so much more. Celebrate that this Father's Day weekend only at Hostel's Furniture and Appliances, Ashley Furniture Home Store, Hostel's Building and Nevis Centers, and Builder's Paradise. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea, and as we continue along, I wanted to speak on, I don't know, Quint, if you saw this. It's from, waiting for it to load up. I actually found it on Loop News, and it says, St. Kitts and Nevis introduces stiffer penalties to enhance prison security. And it says, a bill designed to bring sweeping changes to the country's approach to prison management and contraband enforcement has been passed in St. Kitts and Nevis. Prime Minister and Minister for National Security, Dr. Terence Drew, brought the Prison Amendment Bill 2025 before the National Assembly on Thursday, that's last month, May 15, calling it a necessary response to modern security threats and the need for a safer correctional facilities. The legislation, which amends the decades-old Prison Act, introduces harsher penalties for anyone caught smuggling banned items into His Majesty's prison. Under the new law, fines have increased dramatically from EC 1,000 to EC I'm fumbling here. EC 50,000. Wow. And maximum prison sentence has been extended from 6 months to 10 years.
So who's going to pay this?
The person that smuggles it in, I guess. It says, in addition to stiffer penalties, the bill also expands the definition of contraband to include mobile phones, SIM cards, knives, and drugs, a reflection of growing concerns about organized criminal activities within prison walls. Prime Minister Dr. Drew spoke forcefully in support of the amendment, saying, a safe prison is part of our overall citizen security agenda. He stressed the government's focus on creating not just a more secure prison environment, but also one conducive to rehabilitations. These changes will make our prisons safer, and they will help to stop any nefarious activities behind bars, Dr. Drew said. The only activities we want behind bars, Madam Speaker, are activities of rehabilitation that could increase the possibility of their successful reintegration into our society. As part of that commitment, the government plans to introduce more progressive rehabilitative initiatives, with the Elevate program identified as a central pillar in supporting inmates' personal growth and preparation for life after incarceration. The passage of the Prison Amendment Bill 2025 marks a major step in the government's broader efforts to modernize the criminal justice system and enhance public safety across St. Kitts and Nevis.
You see, these initiatives are not bad initiatives in themselves. But what I have a problem with is that in opposition, you find all kind of problems that were supposed to be dealt with that were not dealt with, in your opinion. That's the opposition's opinion by the incumbent, the then incumbent. And then you get into power, and all of those issues that were relevant to you being elected, we don't hear anything about them. We hear all these new things, like this is not a bad thing in terms of prison reform and security, but what happens to things like electoral reform and other,
Coming
other
soon.
very important. We don't hear anything about them. And then we're going to hear somebody say, since we've been in government, we passed 20-something bills. But none of these bills are any of the things that you were speaking about when you were in opposition. These are new concepts, new ideas, and as good as they may be, they are not the real down-to-earth, nitty-gritty factors that are affecting our daily lives, to the extent that if these things, if you change things like electoral reform and some other things that my mind can't seem to grasp presently, it will make a big difference. Now, here's an instance. You have a prisoner, you have someone who was incarcerated for not being able to pay child support, right? And then you catch him with some weed or whatever. So he couldn't pay child support, so you have him in prison, but now you catch him with some weed and you're going to charge him $50,000. How is he going to pay that?
No. That's the person that's smuggling it in. So I'm coming to visit somebody in there, and I'm bringing them a SIM card. I'm bringing them some drugs, some weed.
Well, don't you know the prisoners smuggling things too?
The prisoners themselves smuggling things?
Oh, you don't know that.
No, but this speaks to the people that are taking it in.
I could hear that. For instance, some of the main individuals that smuggle in things all over the world are the very
guards?
same, prison guards.
We know
Yeah, so then it's a matter of scrutinizing the people you give these jobs.
Yeah, so even they would be fined.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with that. But I am saying you give this broad thing. Prisoners smuggle in stuff also. So are you going to be consistent?
They might just add some more time on his time if he can't pay the 50,000.
Well, but we don't get that when you say you're going to do this. You see, here's my point. You come and you say you're going to implement thing and you make it broad. You don't make it specific and detailed.
But I thought, wait, let me go back to it. Because
we have a caller.
Caller, go ahead. Okay, we lost
them.
It says, the legislation which amends the decades-old Prison Act, introducing harsher penalties for anyone caught smuggling. Anyone.
Yeah,
anyone.
So it's broad. That's what I'm saying.
Anyone. So everybody.
Yeah, including the prisoner who couldn't pay child support and smuggled in some, because usually what the prisoner smuggled into prison is some kind of weed or something. So because they're in there every day bored, you know what I'm saying? And
they could have been out here not being bored.
Yeah, hello, caller.
Yes, a good point that you just made in terms of it being so general. When you come to think of it, why should there be physical contact between, let's say, a visitor and a prisoner? I don't understand how a civilian would be able to smuggle in something to somebody in the prison.
Put it in the food or the soap or something.
What's that?
Put it in the food or the soap or something.
But that's what I'm saying. That does not go directly to the prisoner. Okay? There is an interface by, I guess, the prison officials, because I suspect a lot of...
Maybe that's where they find them.
What's that?
Maybe that's where they find them too during that.
Okay, so then that's the case for being specific, right? Go after the staff that you have there, and make sure the security measures in place do not allow for the screening and that sort of thing, do not allow for the kind of corruption of those prison officers.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't understand how you could smuggle in cell phones and ganja and those things. Well, obviously it happens, and I'm saying that if according to Quint, you're very targeted, and you go after what is most likely the breach, where the breach occurs, then you'll be fine. And to the overall question that you point that you made, Quint, about not dealing with stuff, they make it seem as if you can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Why can't you deal with all these problems that you saw when you're in opposition, and big ticket items too, like things like electoral reform, campaign finance reform, constitutional reform? There is no reason why you can't do these things as well as the other things that you're doing now. It's a matter of priorities, I think, and whether you really want to do it. I don't get the impression, to be quite honest, that once you get in, there's an impetus to change the system, because now you're in, it benefits you.
Yeah.
You know, and that I think is the problem. This thing about whether it takes time and get around to it. How long now we've been saying we're going to get around to electoral reform?
Yeah.
And a lot of the problems that we have are not going to be solved unless we deal with constitutional reform, electoral reform, and electoral reform to include finance reform, campaign finance reform as well.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously too much money in our elections, and that, more than increasing parliamentary salaries, I think is the cause of corruption. This scramble for money to pay for a campaign, the stashy campaigns that we have down here, and the buying of votes and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right then.
Thank you for your contribution.
So let's take a little commercial break, and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Suppligen is giving away 3 unforgettable shopping sprees valued at $1,200 each. Just shop and win. Spend $12 or more on Suppligen products at your favorite supermarket. Write your name and contact on the back of the bill and place them into the Suppligen entry form boxes. Enter as many times as you like. Promotion runs from April 1st to May 31st. Suppligen boosts you up.
Get ready for the biggest Father's Day weekend sale ever from June 12th to 14th. Hosses Furniture and Appliances, Ashley Furniture Home Store, Hosses Building and Nevis Centers, and Builders Paradise are bringing you incredible savings and a special men's health and wellness fair. Take 25% off at Hosses Furniture and Appliances, plus double cash back for free groceries with every higher purchase. It's the perfect time to upgrade your home and fill your pantry. And that's not all. Get 25% off store-wide at Hosses Building and Nevis Centers and Builders Paradise on all discountable items. On Saturday, June 14th, don't miss our men's health and wellness fair at Hosses Building and Nevis Centers from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Get free diabetes, HIV, blood pressure checks, plus customer giveaways and so much more. Celebrate that this Father's Day weekend only at Hosford Furniture and Appliances, Ashley Furniture Home Store, Hosford's Building and Nevis Centers, and Builders Paradise.
Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea, and you know I always preach preparedness when it comes to storms. So I see our sister over there, she's ready, and the headline says Mr. Brian Dard declares that Nevis preparatory actions for the hurricane season surpasses 80%. This article is by Yolanda Weeks, and it can be found on WinFM. I'm just going to read winfm.com. I'm just going to read tidbits of it. It says the Nevis Disaster Management Committee convened for a meeting on Monday, June 2nd, chaired by the Minister with responsibility for disaster management on Nevis, Mr. Spencer Brand. Participating groups involve subcommittees, government department, private agencies, and non-governmental organizations. Director of the Nevis Disaster Management Department, Mr. Dwyer, told the WinFM that Nevis is ready for the hurricane season. He stated that a comprehensive report on the preparedness efforts for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season was shared by the department and stakeholders, indicating a proactive approach to disaster risk reduction and mitigation. He says the hurricane shelters were inspected and the list was published. We also stocked some of the shelters already. There is one shelter that's still undergoing some minor renovation works, and that is expected to be completed before the end of the month, especially before we go into the peak of the hurricane season. So we are well on our way in regards to our preparedness measures. The shelter managers from each parish had an opportunity to discuss emerging shelter readiness and current management concern. And the designated shelters in Nevis are the Girls Guides headquarters, that's in St. Paul's Parish, the Alberta Payne Community Center and Pond Hill Community Center, St. John's Parish, the Ebenezer Church of God, and Charles Walter Community Center, St. George's Parish, Butler's Community Center and Franklin Brown Community Center, St. James Parish, and Cotton Ground Community Center, Jessup's Community Center, and Barnes Gut Community Center, St. Thomas Parish. Okay, caller, go ahead.
Yes, hello, it's me again. Yes, the jail system that y'all were just talking about, and just the jail system, just like the plastic bag ban by government and other things as well that we are doing, they all go against the Bible and therefore are all sinful and wrong in God's sight, based upon the Bible. Now, what I would really like to also speak about is that there's an argument that some people are using here to justify communism, Marxism, and socialism. And I've heard it here on the radio, including on WinFM, this argument. And the argument goes like this. You know, you can't blame communism or socialism or Marxism for slavery, because Russia never enslaved black people. Russia never enslaved Africans. Well, you see, that is a trick argument. It is a magical trick, sleight of hand argument that is somewhat dishonest. And the reason why I said that is this. Christianity, from the 10th century in Russia onward, because of Christianity, slavery was, from that time to today, was not really practiced as such, be it slavery of white people, black people, or any other type of people, because people think only black people were slaves. So because of Christianity in Russia, from the 10th century onward, slavery was not really practiced in Russia. It came because of communism or socialism or Marxism. Russia only became communist in the 1900s, long after the emancipation of slavery in the 1800s. So the argument for Russia really and truly not having slavery, including enslaving black people, was because of the influence of Christianity.
But Greg, that is a stupid argument. And here's why it is a stupid argument. At the very same time that you're saying Christianity was in Russia and impeded slavery, it's the very same period that Christianity was all over the world and they were using slavery, including in the so-called democracy. And here's another point. Don't misconstrue what I say. Never before have I said anything in relation
I wasn't
to...
thinking of your Quint.
Oh.
I wasn't thinking, as a matter of fact, I was thinking of Rascolunji.
Oh, okay, because never before have I said anything in relation to socialism and communism in relation to slavery. I specifically said Russia, because I meant what I said. Russia, there's no history of Russia or any Russian empire ever enslaving us as a people. There's none.
Yeah, but like I said, I wasn't thinking of you.
Okay, so I just wanted to make that clear.
Yes, I've heard Colonji use that argument on WinFM and Freedom Radio and so on. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that Christianity, yes, there are other countries that so-called where Christianity was said to be practiced.
Not what said. Not what. Don't try to hedge your words now. The same way you say that Christianity was in Russia and it impeded slavery.
Because that's what the Bible teaches.
So why was it also in Britain, in the United States of America, in Spain, in Portugal, France? Christianity was in all those places, and they practiced slavery, and they are so-called democracies. So you cannot use this argument and say, well, you can't say that socialism didn't bring slavery. And well, what about communism? What about democracy? Democracy has been the biggest forerunner in slavery.
Well, okay, let me say this. Let me say this, Quint. Let me say this. Now, in those countries that you speak about that profess themselves to be Christians, those countries went against the Bible where the form of slavery they practiced was condemned by the Bible. So that was not Christianity. As a matter of fact, in those countries, the abolitionists who were closer to Christianity railed against the slavery that was practiced in those countries, which in the end helped to abolish slavery.
So
but
then,
let me also say, China, who was communist, had slavery even during the time of communism and before.
Yeah, but I never. Did you hear me say China? I said Russia.
I didn't base what I said based upon what you said. I didn't say in the past.
Because when it comes to me, I'm very, very keen about what I put out. I'm very, very keen on my history. So I'm not going to come here and push out something and I don't have the factual ground for doing so. Okay?
Yeah, but communist China was practicing slavery. And we are that's what that part doesn't mention for those who defend communism, socialism, and Marxism. They're quick to mention Russia, but they forget China. And China has been practicing slavery from way back, including Africans, getting Africans from Africa for the slaves. What I'm saying is that because the Christianity and the issue of slavery in Russia was closer to the Bible than that in Europe and that sort of stuff. That's why it was not really practiced as such in Russia. But in Europe, where they went against the Bible and slavery, with the exception of the abolitionists, that's why it was practiced in Europe and America. These people who were professing to be Christian but going against the Bible.
So by your words, you're strengthening my argument, because my argument is that nowhere in history can you see where Russia enslaved us as a people. And now what you're saying is that Russia, even though Russia is today a socialist or communist or whatever country, you're saying by your words that Russia during that period was closer to practicing what the Bible professes and wants than the other colonialist countries like Britain, France, America, all of them. That is what you're saying.
At least on the issue of slavery. Because remember, the Russian Orthodox Church and
again, you keep hedging. Whether or at least, I am speaking about on the condition of slavery. I'm not speaking on anything else.
So, hold. Yes, let me say this. There were some issues. Where Christianity in Europe and that sort of stuff was closer to the Bible on some issues. But there were other issues
Greg,
Russia
Greg,
was closer
Greg,
to the Bible.
Greg, this is where you when you speak to other people, you run off on these tangents and you get it to work. You don't get that to work
no,
with
that's
me.
the truth.
With me, you don't get that to work. I am speaking specifically and only to slavery. I am not speaking of any other issues. I am saying you started here by saying that Russia didn't practice slavery because they were conforming to the right ways of Christianity. And I am saying that by your words, you're saying.
I didn't say that, Prince. I did not say what you said. I said.
What did you say?
I said where the issue of slavery is concerned.
But that is what
Christianity was more in line with Russia. Christianity was more in line with the Bible than Europe.
But that is what I just said. That is what I just said. You said sometimes you don't even seem to know what you're saying or be confirmed in what you're saying.
I said Russia was closer. Christianity was closer to the Bible than Europe. I'm saying depends on what aspects you're speaking about.
But I'm speaking only about slavery. I'm speaking only about slavery, right?
Okay, yes, then you're correct.
Yes.
You are correct.
Yes.
Okay, then you are correct. But so the reason why Russia did not practice slavery in the 1800s and prior was because of their Christian influence on the issue of slavery.
Yeah. Okay, Greg. So
not because of communism and socialism and Marxism.
Yeah, that is my.
China practiced slavery.
That isn't my argument. So you've made your point. Let me see if I can get another caller. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Yes, man. Good morning. Let me get back in, man. I just want to ask, Gregory. Now, I don't really like to get into this religious thing, man, but let me just ask him some questions. All men were created equal. Where did it start where one race of people would think that they're better than the other race? Secondly, it says God put us here to be fruitful and multiply, and we are now practicing same-sex marriage and same-sex this and same-sex that. How are we going to be able to multiply and be fruitful as the scriptures told us to do? And in relationship to my second point, we see what's going on in the world right now, and we just want to trend down the new style of life. Wrong. We're going down the wrong path. We know it's an abomination for man and man to get together and woman to get together, and we are still going down that path. What the end result is going to be. In terms of the laws and the books in Sincus and Nevis, we can point to one specific law that we know they took up off the books, the boogering law, and nobody wants to talk about that. The colonial masters placed that law on us, and they came back and now trying to remove it throughout the region and the world, imposing that type of lifestyle in the world. And, we are following that lead. That abomination, that boogering law that they took up off the books in Sincus and Nevis, no consultation with the people. And now we had same-sex marriage on Frigate Bay, and we're going full speed ahead with that. In terms of the political makeup of the two islands, Sincus and Nevis, we are currently a federation, and the current federal government, the structure inside the parliament, the Labour administration, they have 6 seats, right? And on the Nevis side, CCM has 3 seats, and it seems like they have the place deadlocked. But instead of them passing the real deal laws that the people are asking for, the electoral reform, the constitutional reform, and obviously that variant clause and that dual citizenship clause will come into play. But when they get inside, they are not making no changes. Because when they get inside, like Mahan said, and other people are stating, when they get inside, it's beneficial for them. And so then, therefore, we are going to stay like how we are. Our leaders are not trying to progress. They don't have real goals for Sincus and Nevis. Real goals. where do you want to see the Federation in 20 years? If they don't change the Constitution to reflect what our citizens are requesting right now, we're not going nowhere. We're not going nowhere. We're not going to make the real progress and the real advancement. The framework of the land is the Constitution. And if the Constitution is faulty, everything else underneath of that is faulty. The senior politicians of the day, they are not even giving the new politicians the sound, real deal advice. They came up out of certain struggles with the first national hero we be referencing all the time, Badger. What those guys stood for then, our current proper politicians are not standing for. And the senior citizens and these advisors that surround the Prime Minister, they are not advising the Prime Minister right. If I was the Prime Minister of the day, when I came into office, I would have come in with a brand new entourage, and I would not go back to any of these senior politicians because they are toxic. All of the Prime Minister right now, if I was him, I would fire all my advisors. They are not advising this man correctly. Dr. Drew, if you want to stand a chance to get a second term, I would advise you to move all those elders you got around you. Thanks a lot, man. You guys have a good day.
Yeah.
Thank you for your contribution.
Yeah, my mind was kind of a perusing there. I'm gonna touch the Russia situation briefly. There's a lot of history about Russia that a lot of people don't know. Russia has not gone through the kind of slavery that we have gone through, but Russia has always been exploited by the rest of Europe. And that is a history that a lot of people seem not to be aware of. And so when people today wonder why it is that the Russians and Putin have the attitude that they have, and why it is that Europe seems to be always trying to fight and keep and oppress Russia, is because they have been exploiting Russia all along. If you go back, way back, even before the Atlantic trade, slave trade, Russian women were being used all over the world. There is a thing in even today, I think it is still practiced, where around the world, even from the time of Greek, the time of the Roman Empire, and up into the British Empire and so on and so forth, a lot of these nobles, kings, and royalties would go into certain parts of Russia and get their women, use their women as slaves, concubines, and so on and so forth. If you delve into history, you would see that it is said that some of the most beautiful women in the world come out of that particular part of Russia. Here's another bit of history for you. Whenever we say Caucasian and we say white people, do you know that comes out of Russia? A lot of people don't know that. The word Caucasian comes from the Caucasian Mountains. That is a region in Russia. That is where, back in the period where the Europeans were trying to push their agenda as a superior race, their scientists was using some primitive means of using the skull to determine who were superior race and who were not. And their scientists decided that these people who came from the Caucasian Mountains were the superior race. But you need to know your history. There's so much history that people do not know. So whenever I find it a sort of a contradiction or paradox that here you use the word Caucasian, meaning white people, but yet still the NATO, the United States, and the rest of Europe is fighting against Russia, from whom the connotation that represents them comes from. Could you imagine that? It's just like in the world today, where everybody is fighting to oppress the black man, and every race came out of the black black man. So it's a contradiction. And this is why history and deep history need to be taught in our schools. You look up the word Caucasian, Cautensia, and its origin. You look into what they call the etymology of the word, and you will find that it comes from the Caucasia Mountains, and that is in Russia. Okay, Caucasia Mountains.
But it came from a German anatomist, John Friedrich.
That's the scientist who was doing the thing, but I'm speaking about the word Caucasian and its origin.
Yeah, I looked up that.
Hello? Hello, caller?
Hi, good morning, Quinn.
Yes, good day.
Good morning, hostess.
Yeah.
Thank you, Quinn, for going on in the research and come up with some factual answers, which is really good. But I'm not going to change the topic. I just want to be a little bit home. I received a text or WhatsApp yesterday concerning some issues. Is that it appears as if that the government intend to reduce VAT.
Yeah.
And I believe that their intention is to give some relief to the people of this country. But the thing is that it appears to me like most of the time that government do things, they do it with a good intention to help the people and so that the people will benefit. But 99.9% of the time, who benefits are the merchants. I remember when VAT was removed from the food, which was done by Timothy Harris administration, which was a good thing. But the thing is about that, even though the intention meant well, it did not serve the purpose of the people well to me, because it appears as if the VAT system wasn't properly policed. And no matter what you do in this country, if you don't have the proper mechanism to put in place to police these things, when you put them, it would have been better that you leave them.
It's not so much that the proper mechanism isn't there to police them, you know. There's a word that people need to be aware of that curtails or handicaps everything, and that word is, we don't hear it much in our region, but that word is lobbying and lobbyists. And I'm sure you are aware of what that word means. Here is where you decrease the VAT, but then the very same people who you go to when the time comes for election to sponsor your rally for government, your election campaign, are the very same business people saying it is only so small, only so big. So the very same people that you turn to help you to finance your campaign are the very same people who are in a position to retard these taxes. And if you find yourself kind of hamstrung because how are you going to attack the people who you turn to for finance when when they go contrary to the law and you know that you need them during your campaign? So that is a problem.
I agree with you full-heartedly, and I recognize that, but at the same time, you and I know that most of the 99% of the time when we go to a counter, any counter, and the decisions that were made in the back by management, a board of director, and given to a manager to hand down to the manager to hand out to the staff. The people that we meet at the front, those are not the people who make the decision. They just enforce the decision that was made from the back.
Yeah.
And so therefore we take it out on the staff. Most of us take it out on the staff and views and so on. But the staff have instruction to do this and that. What they're supposed to do, they cannot make any changes to facilitate us.
Yeah.
Now, I say all of that to say this, is that whenever government ministers want to go into politics, they approach those same people, which is in your own words, which is true, and they look for what you call campaign donation.
Yeah.
And from those campaign donation, whatever those people put into the campaign, they're not doing it for free. They're looking forward to getting it back.
That's it.
So all those drinks, free drinks that you think you're getting and laughing and say, oh man, the minister was good because he bought this for me, he gave that for me. No, he get that from somebody. He's not taking it out of his pocket. So that is true.
Yeah.
But in a conjunction, I say all of that to say this. In our system, we have a good system, whereas the minister could separate himself from the issues and let the mechanism work. We have customs, which most of our stuff that we consume are imported into the system. And we have a system right now. I remember we have the new CET, and it was through the Common External Tariff.
Yeah.
And there's a program which is called the ASACODA.
Yeah.
When the ASACODA came out, it started to run sluggish, but after a while it kind of get better and improve. I'm not sure the condition that it's in now. But from the ASACODA, you could have gone it and you could have seen what the prices are in Rams and Hartsford and so on and all the supermarket, what they're selling certain things for.
Yeah.
From the ASACODA, you could see that the importation bill was so much, which they would have paid the FOB, and they would have paid the freight, and they would have paid the handling and so on, and they would have come up with what you call a CIF value, and government would have charged the CIF value for food, even though we might not be paying VAT and the cost of food, we are paying the duty, the custom duties are still there.
Yeah.
So I say in all of that to say this, to give you a recognition that government should have what you call a full board view, even though the wholesaler is the retailer. And that's one of the hard part about it, you know. The wholesaler is the retailer that sells to the retail, and after they sells to the retail, even telling the retailer what price to sell at.
Yeah.
And having said that, you go to the supermarket and you buy from them, and then you go to the country and you buy from the mom and pop shop, which they are killing at the same time. So, and the wholesalers are only a few.
Because
easily controlled.
Here's finish your point.
Okay, because I want to. Okay, I don't want to slow you down. But the thing is, what happened is that when you have something like the gentleman was speaking to the plastic bag this morning, I'm going to use that one scenario. When we purchase stuff, it appears to me that before we was getting a plastic bag appeared to be free from the supermarket.
Yeah.
And having said that, it appears to me like the plastic bag was factored into the cost of the goods that we take from the shelf.
Yeah, that is a fact.
Now that the government went and passed a law, I'm not sure how good it was done, but to me that's a foolish law. Anyway. But now you find yourself at the counter paying for a bag which is for 40 cents, and I believe, I'm not sure, but I just feel like the cost of those bags are factored into the food that we're buying from the shelf.
Yes.
Because if you understand costing, that's easy to do. Because once you get all the figures together and you put the cost of that in there and you do the factor, once you get the factor, your multiplication, and you come up with the same thing, you divide and you come up with the answer for the figure. So whether those bags are sold or not, they're getting the money for those bags.
Yeah.
So they are charging 40 cents. What could have happened if the government is so genuinely want to help the people and they so believe in not putting any extra burden on the people, which I think they don't want to do? They themselves could have import those bags that are selling in the supermarket and give them away free. So that you're showing, hey, look, I want to help the people, so I don't need no additional cost. Make sure that the prices in the supermarket, the prices are tagged on the shelf. So when you shop, you can see it. All of those are into law, but they're not enforcing. They're not enforcing. Nobody cares. And so therefore, if you want to make sure that the people get true juice, you have to have people to make sure that these things are enforced, because those big merchants are squeezing the small people. And every time you go without a bag and you pay 40 cents, it adds up. Could you imagine one of those bags maybe in a box might have 5,000. Multiply 5,000 by one of those bags, and it is 40 cents for one. 5,000 times 40 cents. You know how much money that is? It's a lot of money. And even though it might have factored into the cost of the goods, that means they are reaping the harvest twice.
$2,000.
The merchants are killing us.
But caller, finish your point, because I think you're kind of going around in circle now. So, because I want to make a point.
Okay. my point is, when you pass something into law that should benefit the people, it should not be a cost to the people so big that the extra cost that they're carrying. And I think that these things need to be properly policed. You need protection for the people, by the people, for the people.
Yeah.
I think I've said enough. Have a good day, Queen.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And this is why sometimes, even though I get irritated with Greg because he belabors a point, he doesn't see. Greg doesn't seem to understand when he has made a point and he should step back. He keeps trying to reinforce it even after we've gotten it.
He said he's not going to talk
But
for
one of the
9
point that Greg persistently makes is that it's making it harder for the poor people, and it is a fact. Here's what I'm going to show you. Especially, I'm going to use the Chinese supermarket because they are the ones who are mostly doing this. You used to go into the Chinese supermarket and you buy your stuff just like anywhere else when you go to Hosford's or wherever, and you got those plastic bags, okay? It may have been factored into the cost, but we didn't feel it. But ever since this ban has been put into place, we see some other bags now, and they are as much as $3.50. That is an exorbitant amount of money. Number two, another point that Greg made is that they are not durable bags. They cannot take the pressure that the plastic bags could have taken, as thin as the plastic bags were, because what the plastic bag did was stretch. But these bags, next thing you know, you see holes bored in them. So that means that you would have to, over a period of time, be repurchasing these bags at $3.50 a piece. That is an exorbitant cost for the poor man.
Big bags. That's for the big ones, because that's the cost of the big bag.
Yes, and they are the ones who goes and do a little shopping. Usually you do big shoppings.
Got you.
So you need big bags. And then very well know you need big bags. So these bags started at $1 and they are now three something. That is not fair. You, as the people who have come and imposed this law, must have people now who are going to follow up and say, okay, we don't have a problem with you getting back, but why are these bags so expensive? And why are they not as durable?
They might point you back, the persons that are enacting the law, to the manufacturers that's selling it and them making a profit off of it.
You can't come up with no manufacturers. We're talking about the people who you're patronizing in your island, on your country. I'm saying that if I go to any Chinese supermarket and I buy X amount of good, the Chinese should be able to give me something that is not as much as $3 and something, and it isn't durable.
But I'm going to argue, before it was enacted and became serious law, let me say serious law, where we can't use plastic bags, we should be distributing plastic bags. Hosford's, Rams, and some other establishments were giving out. Even my little shop in Newtown, Jay's, she gave us some nice reusable poly bags. So you can bring those to the store all the time when you come, and you don't have to come empty-handed. So in the defense, some establishments were giving out free bags. It's only now that it's enacted. Some people don't have bags, so they pay for the bags.
But here's the problem, Hortensia, which I want everybody to get. Every week, every month of every year, people shop.
Yeah, so keep your bags in your car.
But
I lived in Antigua, and they enacted
Hortensia,
that
these
law.
bags are not durable. That is what I'm saying.
Okay,
I bought some bananas, right, along with some other goods, and you see that bag I have behind here. I put them in that bag, so it's not that I'm carrying them in the bag. I put them in that big bag that holds them. But when I reach home and I take the bag out, the bananas have points. They're boring through the bag.
Okay.
That is what I'm saying. So imagine the person who is not putting it in a bag like mine and trying to walk with that bag from one point to the other point.
I get that.
That is what I'm saying.
Okay, so you want the bags to be more durable. So for the person
and not so expensive. Not for $3 and something every time you see, here's the gimmick, as they think people are stupid. But you make these bags, they're porous, so they're not going to be durable. So I'm going to keep having to purchase them. That is a cost to the poor person.
Cash-strapped person.
Yes. So what Greg needs to do is make his point and then desist, not continue to argue back and forth and back and forth and back and
So we need more
forth.
durable bags.
Hello, caller. We're going to entertain the final call for today, and then we're going to wrap up. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello?
Yes,
Hi.
go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. I'm just got a quick observation. Sorry about this. I went to Value Mart a few days ago, and I wanted to buy a few things, and I put an old polythene bag in my pocket. When I got to the checkout, they said, "Oh no, I can't use my polythene bag. I'm not allowed to use it." Although it's a reuse. For a start, it's reuse, so it's no longer a single-use plastic bag. Now, I don't know why that happened, but the next time I go, I will be taking a Guinness bag, which they gave me when I bought a box of beer. And I want to see what will happen. Anyway, I'll close down and I'll listen. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you for your contribution. So he's saying he took a pollet.
Yeah.
Because the other day too, I bought meat and I didn't want to put my meat in the bag, so I had one of the plastic bags you would put your onion, your potatoes or whatever, and the young lady told me she can't put it in there for me.
So
I would have to do it myself.
Because they don't want to be liable for anything in case.
But the Sainsbury bags and all these bags that came from overseas, I know a lot of people are using reusable bags.
And this is the first I'm hearing that. Now my phone lines are going crazy. So, hello, caller. I don't like to go back on my words, but hey, since you're so persistent, go ahead.
Good morning, Quint. Thank you. You must have known I was calling. Quint, I'd like to chime in on the...
and be brief. Be brief and to the point.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to be brief. All right. You see the recycle business in St. Kitts? It's the way it's run, it's not going well. Quint, right now my job, my career right now, I'm in the recycle business. And every soda can, water bottle, glass or plastic, I get paid for them. So I don't pick up, but I buy from the regular people. And I take them to a dispensary. And for everyone, I get paid for them. How I increase my value? The volume. The more I get, the more I make. And I make my 100% plus 100% on my investment. And in St. Kitts, whatever is recycled here, they give them gift cards. They should give them money. And plastic, anything that is recyclable.
Caller, you have me puzzled.
Yeah.
Did you say you'd make 100%? And I don't understand that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to say my name because it's kind of shicey. In New York State, right? New York State pays 5 cents for every recycled bottle, whether it's big or small, 5 cents.
Yeah.
Then some people will collect as much as they can and they go to another state that pays 10 cents. Do the math and do the common sense.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
So, hold on. And hey, this is like the gold rush in the early time of America. The more you get, the more you make.
Yeah.
And you can't lose.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying in Century, whatever is recyclable, because we buy sodas, we buy beer, we buy whatever. And those things are commodities. Who are going to waste commodities? If they want to make that as a way for the residents in St. Kitts and Nevis to have some kind of sustainable income, self-employed, so to speak.
But caller, they made a point that is quite valid. We don't consume as much as we think that we're a big population. We don't consume as much so that we can make that kind of profit. That is a point.
But for what little it is, Brother Quinn, right? Plastic need to be recycle, no matter what. Glass, the same thing. We can't be dumping them. We can't be dumping them for landfill. So we have to find some way. And the ability to do such things. Because what goes around comes around. You buy them with the liquid, and the containers, they are recyclable. Cardboard. But I am not into cardboard. I'm into the recyclable sodas, water bottles. We have a lot.
Plastic.
And you will see them on the street.
Yeah.
And that's a way of keeping the country clean.
Yeah.
In something. So I say I can't keep that as a secret anymore.
Yeah.
You are speaking about recycle.
Yeah.
I think some measures like that should be put into place. At least someone could make a $5 to offset something towards a bill. A sandwich. And
I know the brewery here does something like that, because I see people. You hardly find any buckles on the road that the brewery use now, because people pick them up and people store them up and people take them to the brewery. So that is a good point.
But what are they getting for those returns? Is it the redemption goes towards their purchase of what the brewery is producing?
Yeah,
selling?
I don't know. I don't know exactly, but they do get cash. And I don't know how much cents, but they do get cents per the buckle, and it seems to work because people are picking up those buckles. You might be going somewhere and you see even the people who are like parks and whatever, and they're going around and they see these buckles, they pick them up and they store them separately. So that is because there is a financial incentive, so
yes.
I don't know.
And
so
remember,
please wrap up, please.
Yeah. Plastic is plastic, glass is glass. Aluminum is aluminum. Okay? Those are commodities, and I think measures should be expanded other than glass. If it's only glass, even to the liquor bottles, here they go. Give that incentive to the public so that the island could be more clean instead of dumping sites. I will have more to say to it. I have more to say to it, but I will respect the timeline. We shall continue another time. Thank you for that, Brother Chris. Bye.
Okay. And that is how we bring an end to Island Tea for today. Very, very interesting and so forth. There was a clip I wanted to play, but I'll play that another time. It's to do with black hair, and it's to do with in the region, and it was surprising that I didn't know that people in the Caribbean, institutions, schools and so forth, was still banning people from having locks. But I'm going to play that clip maybe tomorrow,
Okay.
Also. So, you have anything to say as we close, Hortensia?
Nah, just remember, our future doesn't come wrapped in plastics. I know we have reusable bags at home. Let's use them. Let's just make the future better for the children that we're going to leave here on Earth.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
TDC Home and Building Depot is turning up the savings. Shop exclusive deals on Thursday, May 20th.